Heyo people, you are watching Hidden World Podcast, Episode 8, recorded on Sunday, June 3rd, 2012. This is a video podcast where I, the Mr. Nep, talk about games, anime, and whatever I'm currently working on to upload to YouTube on my main channel. As usual, I'd like to thank anyone that's watching this video. I'm glad somebody out there is watching this. I hope you enjoy what you're going to be watching. I'm always worried that maybe what I'm doing, nobody's liking it, nobody's enjoying it. It's always a concern for me, but if you do end up enjoying it, even if you don't say it, just as long as you enjoyed it, that makes me happy. Just knowing someone out there, or even not knowing that someone out there enjoyed it, you know, that's good enough for me, basically. But yeah, this week is going to be some more footage from Spider-Man Edge of Time, because I got so much footage I might as well use some more of it. And because I pretty much alluded to next week I was going to use Spider-Man Edge of Time footage again at the very end of the video. If you sat to the very end, I kind of gave that away. So yeah, it's just more footage. Like last week, this is just a playthrough that I'm using for reference so I can try and keep track of what I'm doing in the game so I don't get lost. At least not a lot when I'm playing the game. And just, yeah, basically it's just practice for whenever I do start recording it for an actual Let's Play. But yeah, this week is actually not E3 yet. Like, as after I finish recording, it's going to be E3 stuff. So, like, you know, all the E3 information that you guys will already have known and everything, I don't know yet because I'm not recording on the day it starts pouring out all that information. So yeah, this week there isn't too much news or anything, but there is an okay amount, I suppose. But next week is just gonna explode with stuff. Like, oh my god, I'm so looking forward to it. It's just like a gamer in a candy store, basically. Like the gamer's equivalent of a kid in a candy store. Just like, oh god, I'm looking forward to the E3 news that's gonna be coming out. And just, yeah, it's gonna be good stuff. But let's just start with the show. And basically, this week I haven't done too much. Like, the main thing was the episode 7, which took forever to edit because, oh boy, that episode 7, oh my god, that was another problem child. Yeah, it wasn't too long ago that I had a problem child with an episode. Episode 7 is yet again another one. Oh man, it really wasn't troublesome while I was editing. It's just that afterwards, when I was trying to upload it to YouTube, that was where the problems really started to arise. Because basically, first off, it kept like cutting off whenever I was uploading. So like, you know, I could go like 2 hours in and all of a sudden, boop, no, you're not finishing the upload this time. Try again. So like, you know, I had to actually retry a couple of times just to get the thing to actually go uploaded. And then once that happened, I got hit with some copyright issues because I was actually going to try something different for episode 7, and that completely just backfired on me, so I couldn't even do that. So I had to redo the entire video again and then process it again, you know, get the video file, then upload it to YouTube. It failed upload again, and just I had to keep doing it until it finally uploaded and I could actually do what I usually do with the videos, like, you know, watch them, like give descriptions, all that stuff, just the usual basically. And so just, oh my god, it took so much longer than it should have. It should have been out earlier, like a couple days earlier, but because of all the trouble I had, it came out later than planned. So yeah, sorry about that, but hopefully it's not gonna happen with this episode. Just, oh god, that was a major headache. I'm really hoping these episodes don't continue to be such a big headache over and over. But anyway, of course, what I've actually been doing, like in real life and everything, I haven't been doing much. I just, this week I got like a wave of orders of stuff. Basically, it was like I got a couple of stuff, but the most notable thing that I got was I got Touhou 12.8. Finally, I got that one, which is a spin-off Touhou, as you can tell by the number. And I also got the manga for Puella, Magi, Madoka, Magica. And I'm glad I got that because I ended up reading it like within a couple of days. Just I spent the past couple of days just reading it and I just finished it. So yeah, that's basically what I've been doing, and I could go ahead and start talking about like the manga for Puella, Magi, Madoka, Magica. That is basically the exact same as if I was watching the anime, because Volume 1 had 4 chapters, and each chapter basically covered the exact same thing that happened in the anime by the episode. So like Chapter 1 pretty much the exact same thing as episode 1 of the anime. And so like basically it's actually just straight up the exact same. Like there was no change. Like I think the dialogue was like 1-to-1 the same. Like it's just like it's so samey that it was like I enjoyed it. Of course, I'm not gonna say I didn't, but at the same time, like it was kind of like for those that can't afford the anime, like this is a good alternative for you guys. Like if you haven't watched the anime, you don't want to buy it because it's too expensive or something, which I can't blame you because Netflix sucks ass. But you know, if you have that money trouble, you can just pick up the manga at like a fraction of the price, and it has the exact same content. I don't think they even cut out, like, no major events were cut out or anything, but I think just some minor small talk, extra chatter, and the anime got cut. But besides that, it's pretty much the exact same thing. The actual main story you'll get just fine. So like, yeah, if you have to go with one or the other and price is an issue, like the manga is a pretty good purchase because yeah, there was nothing different. And you know, usually the manga and anime end up changing around the midpoint starting to the end point. So like I'm gonna keep buying the manga, and I'm looking forward to see what kind of changes they're gonna end up doing, because I don't think it's gonna be the same all the way through, because you know, usually the anime and manga of stuff, the beginning is always gonna be very closely similar. Just from my experience, that's how it's always been. There's exceptions, of course, but just in general, it usually is that way. So I'm basically going with the same expectations for Madoka, because I think it's going to change around the midpoint probably. So yeah, I'm going to be looking forward to the next manga volume. Although it's going to kind of suck because I have to wait a while, and I finished it like a few days after it released. So yeah, I still got a pretty long wait time for the hit. And the final volume of the anime is going to be coming out soon, so there's that to look forward to. But still, like, in terms of Madoka, like, once the anime is out, then it's like a long wait for the next volume of the manga. So it's just something I'm going to have to wait for. I'm going to have to be patient and all that. It's just, oh, it really sucks. I'm not that patient, god damn it. I want it. But anyway, that's enough about that. So, moving on, I mentioned I got Touhou 12.8, which is the Cirno spin-off for Touhou. You know, it's called The Great Fairy Wars and all. And it's, of course, starring Cirno. You play as her. And it's a very unique shmup because Cirno is an ice fairy, so she's all about, like, freezing bullets. And they have this entire mechanic surrounded around the freeze aspect of what you can do. So basically you have to like build up your freeze meter and then use it at the right time to like maximize the amount of damage you can do to people, and also whenever there's just way too many bullets on screen, you can use it so you can get away and be safe for a little bit until the freeze wears off, and then you get hit by whatever, which has happened to me like a billion times already. Oh god. But it's a pretty unique system. I like the way it works and everything, and it's pretty fun. I never really liked Cirno as a character. I just like making fun of her because she's the butt of Touhou. Like, she's just easy to make fun of. But yeah, as the gameplay, I actually like Cirno. Just character, no. But basically, it's enjoyable. I haven't really gone too far because the game is 3 stages long, but that's because there's a whole bunch of routes you can take. You know, there's 3 routes you can take from the start, and then those 3 routes have different branching points, so you can go through A1 or A2, and then you can go through B1 or B2. Like right now I'm trying to do A1, trying to clear it, and I'm sucking at it because I can barely, just like today, before I started recording, I barely beat Star Sapphire, which is the boss for Stage 2, and just like at the beginning of Stage 3, I just got demolished because I had no life whatsoever. I had like no bombs. I had to go all out against Star Sapphire, and I barely beat her, so that's as far as I've gone. It's just the beginning of Stage 3, so kind of sucks, but I'm slowly like getting a better handle of the system because I've only been playing it for like a few days now, like 2 or 3 days, I think, somewhere around there. And so like I'm still learning. I'm trying to figure out better strategies to maximize the freezing, because you know, the more Sinnoh freezes stuff, the more like your meter will go up for bombs and lives. And so, you know, it's very important to strategically freeze stuff so you can kill enemies, so you can build up your meter, so you can do more freezing. You know, it all revolves around this freezing mechanic, which is really interesting. And it's fun to play. I'm enjoying it. I don't know when I'm going to be able to beat it, though. That's the problem. And I really do want to get through all the story paths or whatever one I need to unlock the extra stage, because I do want to pick a fight with Marissa and see how that goes. Because, yeah, like the only footage I've seen of other people play Great Fairy Wars was the extra stage boss, which I was like, who's the extra stage boss for this game? And it was like, holy crap, it's Marissa! And you know, it just looked really fun because, you know, she was using like the Master Spark, a whole bunch actually. Like a lot of her attacks were, I think they were all Master Sparks or variations of it. I'm actually not sure. I don't play Marissa, so I don't know too much about her attacks. But yeah, it's fun. I'm enjoying it, and I'm also glad that Zun's not doing the artwork, because Zun is terrible at artwork. So like the artwork on Great Fairy Wars, like just one character is like better than the entire collection of Zun's artwork for the other games. Because, you know, as much as I love the games, Zun really sucks at drawing stuff. So yeah, I actually enjoy the artwork in this one because it's actually good for once. But you know, it's not to say, like, you know, his artwork's always been kind of passable, I suppose. It's just this time it's actually serviceable, so yeah, there's that. But that's basically what I've been doing. I don't have too much more to say, basically, because, you know, basically episode 7 took up my entire week. I barely had any time to do anything else. What I just talked about was the barely parts of what I could do, so yeah, it's just a really empty week. But of course, if you want to see everything I did this week, you know, I have my anime and game log you can check out whenever you want. Like, I'll provide links and all, so you can check it out. It's just, you can go at your own leisure, basically. But now it's time to move on to the news of this week. First up in news is that there's a puzzle platformer that's going to be hitting the PS3 and the Vita this fall. It's called Snapshot, and like, as you can probably tell from the title, the main gimmick of the game is, of course, like taking snapshot of stuff in the game. You use it somehow in order to solve puzzles to get through the level, and from what I saw from a trailer that they showed off, there was like this one puzzle where like there was a falling block and you took a snapshot of it, and because you took a snapshot while it was falling, you actually captured the momentum along with the block. And so you just had to actually move the snapshot to where you wanted it and then adjust it accordingly so that it would actually keep flying and it would land to where you needed it. And it looks like it's going to be a pretty neat little platformer. I don't know too much about it. I just saw the video itself and it just looked really interesting. I thought it was really neat. I think it's going to be fun to play. And yeah, I'm probably going to end up picking up the PS3 version. Like, if it's not too expensive, I'll pick up both, just because it looks like a really fun game that I would like to have on the console and on the go. So, like, you know, I might end up double dipping, but for sure I'm getting the PS3 version. And just, I'm probably going to have a fun time with it, but I'll have to wait and see until it actually releases. But yeah, it looks really promising, so yeah. Next in news is that Hatsune Miku Dreaming Theater Extend is going to be hitting the PS3 this summer. Which, of course, like the other Dreaming Theaters, is just kind of like an add-on for the PSP game, basically, because you connect the PSP to the PS3 in order to transfer your data over to the console version, and then you can basically play whatever you want on the console version. And they've done it for Project Diva 1 and 2, and now they're doing it for Extend, and this kind of sucks because I don't have Extend. Like, that was the one Hatsune Miku game I skipped, so yeah, this kind of screws me over because now I need to get Extend, and then I need to get Dreaming Theater, and just, god damn it, because I'm a sucker, I want it, I want to play it, I enjoy playing it on the console, it's fun, and just, damn it! Worst timing ever, oh god. So, yeah, I need to import the PSP version, and then I need to get the download version when it comes out, so, like, probably by the time the download version comes out, I'll be picking up the PSP version, and then sometime later, I'm going to be picking up the download version, so basically, I'm going to be a little bit late to when it first releases, but I'm definitely going to be picking it up because I want it, and yeah, it's gonna be fun to play. But the weird thing about the add-on for the PS3 is that, yeah, it's a game and everything, except it directly is connected to the save file of your PSP version. And you can't even, like, download a save file of the game and put it on the PSP. Like, you can't trick the system like that. It actually knows not to do that, not to register that save data. So you actually have to go in and save something to the PSP game in order for it to work right. So yeah, Sega kind of thought it through, and I can't really just cheap out and just download a save file. But I actually don't need the game in the PSP while I'm playing, so you know, there's that to go for it. But yeah, it kind of sucks, because basically what I'm going to end up doing, I'm going to have to end up importing the Extend game and then download a complete save file that has everything unlocked, boot up Extend, and then push the save button and turn it off and never play it again. Like, that's basically what I'm going to do, because I'm just going to have my entire experience on the PS3 instead. So yeah, you know, this kind of really screws me over, which is why I'm not going to be picking up Dreaming Theater Extend right away for that reason. So yeah, it's going to be a gradual process of buying the stuff that I need, which is the PSP game and then the PS3 add-on. So yeah, I'm doing it, but at the same time I'm not doing it right away because, yeah, I'm screwing myself over, but I want it. That's the thing. So yeah, I'll screw myself over because I want it, and I trapped myself, basically. I trapped myself. So when there's a lull in what I'm purchasing, I'll end up doing this. So God damn it, Sega! Alright, next in news is that Senran Kagura Burst is going to be including the first game on the cartridge, which Senran Kagura is a side-scrolling action game for the 3DS. In the first game, you ended up playing as the heroes, but in this one, this is going to be like a sequel to it, where you can play both as the heroes and the rivals in the game. And there's going to be some improvements in this sequel, and they're going to be retroactively put into the first game on this cartridge. So that's really neat, and that's really interesting, and basically this was the last piece of 3DS news. That I haven't been reporting on any of the 3DS news, but that's because I'm caving, basically. Oh boy, I've been resisting, like, importing the 3DS so I can start playing the imports, because there's been stuff I've been wanting to play. Stuff like Hatsune Miku, Code of Princess, Project X Zone, and then just a whole bunch of, like, download games I've been wanting to get. And I can't hold out anymore. I have to import it in order to get all this stuff, because just there's too much. I want the stuff. I want the imports. Like, I'm really interested in the import selection that the 3DS has to offer. So for that reason, I have to cave and end up doing this, because yeah, from now on I'm gonna start reporting on 3DS news, because I'm gonna end up getting one, and I caved. I'll admit it, I caved. I was trying to resist until they actually released the version that has the dual analogs, but I can't. I'm caving. That's really it. That's, fuck. 3DS, you beat me. Damn it. But yeah, that's gonna be it for news right now. I'm gonna go on a break, and then I'm gonna continue the news, but for now, it's break time, so I'll be taking my break now. And I'm back for the break. Alright, hitting off the news again. Next news is that the new Little King story for the Vita will be coming out to the US. It was already confirmed a while back that Europe will be getting it, but now this last week was confirmation that the US will be getting the game as well, and it's going to be as a download title. It's going to be released sometime this year. But basically, what sets apart this Little King story is that it has like a different art style going for it, and it's going to have some like touchscreen controls and stuff like that. I've always kind of like admired the Little King story from afar. Like I've never really been overly interested in the series, but I've also been like monitoring it a little bit. And I think this is going to be like the first one I'm going to jump into, basically. I think this has enough going for it that I will probably pick it up. So, you know, the fact that it's announced, like, you know, if it's a reasonable price, I'll pick it up right away. If not, I'll have to wait a little bit. But basically, it has my interest, and so I want to see more about it. I want to see what's going to happen with it and all that. Just, yeah, I'm basically going to start monitoring this game now. So yeah, that's basically it for the news for that right now. So next news is that Tales of Xillia 2 is going to be hitting the PS3 this winter. The game is supposed to be set a year after the timeline of Tales of Xillia, and it features new main characters. Like, it has a guy named Lugar, I think that's how you say his name, and a little girl named Ella, and they're the main characters. And there was a trailer for the game, and from what I saw, it looks interesting. It looks like they're changing stuff up. Because it showed off the gameplay. It showed off how Lugar himself can switch between like using swords to a gun and to, I don't know what it was. I think it was like a staff or a hammer. I couldn't really tell, but like he was switching mid-battle with those weapons, and yeah, it looked interesting. And then there was also the addition of like kind of like how 13.2 did it, how you could have choices during cutscenes. I don't know why Japan is starting to do this, but they are, and so I'm just watching it, and it looks interesting. And like, you know, it's a follow-up of Tales of Xillia, so like, you know, I'm interested because I did import the first one. I enjoyed what I played of it, and I'm gonna have to finish this up in time for part 2 because yeah, I'm gonna be wanting to pick this up as well. So yeah, this is something I want, and basically I'm gonna start keeping my eye on it now that it's announced. So yeah, this is just a game that's on my radar now. And last for gaming news is that Soul Sacrifice is going to be released outside of Japan. Like, you know, with the domain name of Forsaken Souls before, it turns out that Sony was actually considering changing the name to that, but obviously they decided not to because it's called Soul Sacrifice still. So I guess that basically means that they registered that name for protective reasons, because, you know, Sony has done that before. You know, companies do that on a regular basis. It's just regular business practice. Unless Forsaken Souls is completely different. Like, from what I could gather, it implies that Forsaken Souls was considered, but ultimately not. So, like, you know, I'd still need a little bit more information on Forsaken Souls, but yeah, Soul Sacrifice is actually coming out, and I've been debating for the longest time if I'm going to pick it up or not, and now it's coming out. I'm still debating. Like, really, I need to see more, like, you know, how deep is the story going to be? Is it just going to be like no story whatsoever? It's just pure gameplay? How multiplayer centric is it going to be? You know, if it's just going to be no fun whatsoever without other people, or they even go so far as to add bots, you know, what are they going to do? And is it going to have a lock-on button? Like, that's one thing that, oh boy, Monster Hunter needs a lock-on button. But there's all this stuff about Soul Sacrifice I want to find out about, so basically I'm still keeping track of it, and basically as all these questions get answered, I'm gonna basically be finalizing my decision whether I want it or not. But right now I'm kinda want it, you know, it's just, I need to know more, basically. But yeah, that's actually it for the gaming news this week, and this week there's a little bit of anime news, like a short one and a long one, so yeah, let's just hop on right to it. And basically, first news is that Aniplex USA is going to be releasing the DVD of Oreimo for July 10th, like it's going to be the re-release that was mentioned before on an earlier episode. And that's basically it for the information right now. Like, they gave details of what's going to be in it. I don't care. Basically, the part that I do care is that the price tag, and they have yet to announce it, and it's getting frustrating, especially considering how close it is, and it's just Ah! That's basically my reaction. Oh boy. Although since it's so close, I could probably just go check where they have it on pre-order and just see the price tag right there. So I'll find out soon whether Aniplex announces it or I just look at the shopping site itself. So yeah, one way or another, I'll find out the price tag, and then that will determine whether I will pick it up or not. But fucking hell, why didn't you announce it already with the release date? Just Aniplex, goddammit! You're not winning any points. But okay, now for the next part of the news, which is actually gonna take quite a while to cover. So, the last piece of news is that the manga called Prism is gonna be put on hold right now due to similarities of photos from the artwork. Basically, it's called into question that some of the artists' drawings in the Prism manga looks like line by line the same as some pictures you can find on the web. And so the Tsubomi magazine that serializes Prism has stated that the Prism manga will be going on hiatus while this is investigated. And that just really, really sucks. Like, this really affects me because Prism is basically the best serialized Yuri manga right now. Like, what's being serialized, like, this is the best right now, and that really sucks. Like, this is just terrible. Like, you know, it's my favorite Yuri manga that's coming out right now, and it's just hiatus, and oh my god. And just like the repercussion is gonna be terrible because like there's no way the author can recover from this. Like, you know, his name is Sho Higashiyama, and he's just there's no way he's gonna recover from this. Like, you know, it's basically he's screwed. Like, even if the manga continues, like, it's gonna leave like a stain on him. This is gonna be like a bad spot for him, and you know, it's gonna be bad for the manga, it's gonna be bad for him, it's gonna be bad for Tsubomi, and it's just gonna be all around bad. It's just, oh god damn it, why? Oh god, why the fuck does the internet have to make all these fucking comparisons? I hate the internet sometimes. Oh god, because it's my favorite Yuri manga right now, and it's gonna be put on hiatus, and it's probably gone for good. Like, that's basically what I'm thinking right now, because, you know, if it comes back, you know, it's probably gonna be like, there's no way it's just gonna resume as is, basically. Like, I don't know what, but it's just, after this, it's just hard to recover from this. Even if it comes back in serialization or it gets cancelled completely, just, oh god damn it, why? Why? Oh my god, this definitely affects me because just, it's a fantastic story basically about, oh god, no, I'm not even gonna get into it, it's just, oh god, damn it, this affects me greatly, and just, I'm going on another break. I'll be back once I recover. from that break. Yeah, basically I just cut out a bunch of just me going nowhere, just rattling off the same thing over and over, and just, yeah, just, I'm not gonna share with the world what I was talking about, just, yeah, there's no point for that. Like, I can just summarize my thoughts on the news right now, and it was basically, I'm depressed that basically, this is basically gonna be the end of Prism. Like, I have no hopes whatsoever that it's gonna come back. And even if it does, there's gonna be some sort of catch that's gonna make it suck. Like, it's just, there's no way it's gonna come back the way it was. Just, something's going to happen, and it's not gonna be good, that's for sure. Either it's cancelled straight up, or just something, like a penalty, I don't know. But just, yeah, I have no hopes of Prism coming back, so I'm depressed. Yeah. But that's basically it for the news. I don't even have any news about the channel, so, like, I can just go straight off into the weekly random insert this week. And this week's weekly random insert is just, what I would call Touhou 101 minus 100. Yeah, that's basically what I'm calling it, where it's basically just a sort of introduction into Touhou, because I've talked about Touhou plenty of times. I don't really get into what is Touhou too much. Like, I just talk about the games, like they're a shmup, and that's all I really say, like, over and over. That's basically all I say, so I want to get more into it and just cover some basic stuff that I might be glossing over whenever I talk about Touhou. So this is basically just for the podcast, like, whenever I go into Touhou, like, you know, this is basically the ultimate, like, reference, at least that's what I'm trying to make it into, just a reference for this rather than having to establish what Touhou is every single time. So next time I cover something Touhou related, I'm not even gonna, like, preface it with what it is or what it's about. I'm just gonna go straight into it. So yeah, that's basically the purpose for this random insert. So basically, like I mentioned before, Touhou is a shmup series, of course, where basically the two main characters of the series is Reimu Hakurei and Marisa Kirisame, and they're basically the two main characters. Reimu is a priestess of Gensokyo. Like, you know, Gensokyo is like a made-up land where basically people are, like, secluded from the outside world. It's just their own place and everything, and there's all kinds of people living there, you know, vampires, yokais, fairies, just all kinds of creatures and everything. So it's like really like fantasy time settings. And yeah, Reimu's the main character. Basically each game she's trying to solve an incident, because, you know, something happens each game and she's just there to stop whatever's happening. Like in Touhou 6, there was a person that was spreading red mist all around Gensokyo, and Reimu puts a stop to that. And in Touhou 8, like, you know, it's perpetually nighttime, and Reimu puts a stop to that. And yeah, of course I say Reimu, but so is Marisa. Like Marisa, basically, she also is a playable character. You know, she's always in the Touhou games. Like, for the most part, she's in most of them. But, you know, Reimu's always been there. Marisa has almost always been there. Like, I think she wasn't in the first Touhou, but basically Touhou 1 through 5 is for the PC 98, and so basically I'm probably never gonna talk about them, because, you know, the only way to play them is through an emulator. Like, there's really no means to play it any other way. So I've never really actually played Touhou 1 through 5. I played a little bit of Touhou 1, and actually Touhou 1 is not a shmup. It's actually an Arkanoid clone. Like, strangely enough, it is. And I believe if you took too long in a stage in Touhou 1, then there would, like, be like a whole bunch of bullets on the screen, and basically you'd either have to beat the stage with those bullets or die. Like, that's basically your two options if you took too long. And I don't know when the shmup actually starts for Touhou. I just know, like, for sure Touhou 4 and 5 were shmups, and that's all. Like, I really know nothing about them, so I really don't talk about them. And even the characters from Touhou 1 through 5 basically don't exist, except for two characters, where Yuka from the original Touhou's comes back for Touhou 9, and then Alice from the original Touhou's comes back for Touhou 7. And, those are the only two characters from that era, besides Reimu and Marissa, that actually come back. So, for the most part, like, the other characters, they're basically relics. Like, I'm not ever going to talk about them, so there's really nothing to cover about that. But what Touhou's I would be talking about is, like, Touhou 6 through 13, because those are the Windows-based Touhou, so, like, those are the ones I would actually talk about. And so, like, basically, Touhou 6 features the Scarlet Devil Mansion. That's where Remelia lives, which Remelia was basically the head honcho behind the whole incident. She was in charge of everything, basically, and for the most part, like, most of the game just took place inside the Scarlet Devil Mansion, so most of the characters you meet in Touhou 6 are residents of the area. And so a lot of the characters in Touhou 6 like know each other and connected to each other. Besides like stage 1 and 2, because they're like nobodies basically. They're basically nobody related to the Scarlet Devil incident, or just random people. Although it's kind of ironic because stage 2 had Cyrano, and she becomes one of the most popular characters of Touhou 6. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, it originally just started off as a joke for Cyrano, because she's basically the butt of Gensokyo, and that's basically what I consider her as. And yeah, basically she's just such an easy target to make fun of. Oh god. Because Zune actually like made a manual of Touhou 9 where they had like a screenshot of the game, and they just showed a bunch of random stuff, like, number 1 is like, a screenshot, and they put like numbers. And so like it was like number 1, your life gauge, number 2, your bomb, number 3, da-da-da-da-da, and then it would get to number 9, idiot. That's actually what he wrote in the manual, and number 9 was a picture of Cyrano, so, it just kind of rubbed off, and she became the butt of Gensokyo, basically. She's just, became a joke character, and for some reason that just caught on, and just, she became ridiculously popular. Popular enough that in 12.8 she gets her own game. Yeah, that's how much her popularity has grown since 6. But that's basically Touhou 6. Like, Touhou 7 was basically an incident where it was still winter during springtime, and basically Raymond put a stop to that, and it was, the incident of Touhou 7 was more focused around ghosts. So the final boss of Touhou 7 was actually a ghost, and by the time you reached stage 4 of Touhou 7, you were just fighting nothing but ghosts. And basically, like, something I should probably get out is that Touhou 6 through 8 are basically the most popular of the Touhous. Like, the characters from that series is like, they're basically everywhere. Like, they're the most recognized, I would say. Like, I would personally say that. And they're the longest standing characters. They're like, basically, if you find like Touhou videos, like, it's probably gonna be starring the Touhou 6 through 8 characters. And so, like, basically Touhou 8 was, of course, I mentioned it a little bit, was basically an incident where it was perpetually night, and it was actually a plot of Princess Kaguya trying to get back to the moon, and like, it goes with that story of Princess Kaguya and the Bamboo Princess, that whole story. I don't know too much about it, but I know the basic gist, and it basically mirrors that up to an extent, especially considering some of Kaguya's spell cards actually reflect that story. So yeah, up to an extent it reflects that story, and just, it was basically an incident of Kaguya trying to get to the moon, and that was the main incident of 8. And then so on and so forth. Like, they always had an incident, they had characters and everything, and they don't repeat characters too much. Like, there were a few games where some characters come back as enemies or playable, but not too much. Like, in Touhou 6, it was just Reimu and Marissa that were playable. Touhou 7, it was Reimu, Marissa, and Sakuya from Touhou 6. They were the playable characters. Touhou 8 was Reimu, Marissa, Sakuya, Yomu, and then they added a partner system, so all 4 of those girls had a partner with them. And, Reimu had Yukari from Touhou 7. Marissa had Alice from Touhou 7. Sakuya had Remelia from Touhou 6. Yomu had Yuyuko from Touhou 7.
Not really.
And that was basically the partner system, which actually was pretty unique and interesting. And also Touhou 8 had like a time system, which was also interesting. And that was basically the only way to actually get like the true ending of the game. Like you actually had to perform really well in order to have enough time to actually complete the game, because basically the time system either went up by half an hour or an hour depending how well you did on the stage, and so you basically had to get to the end of the game at a certain time. I forget what, I think it was maybe 5:30, I actually forget, but it was actually a time system. And so basically you had to perform well enough so you could get there in time and then get the ending and roll the credits, basically. So like, you know, it was actually a little bit different from the usual way how shmups work, because, you know, you just live to the very end, and this time you had to not only consider about living but also about time and making sure you don't screw up too much, otherwise you wouldn't actually get to the ending in time. You would just game over, because after clearing a stage your time would go up no matter what. So, you know, if you hit like whatever time you weren't supposed to, like I think once the time hits 6 o'clock you lose automatically. So if it hit that time while you just ended a stage, there you go, game over basically. And so, you know, it was actually a pretty neat system. Basically you had to plan carefully and everything, and just be careful about not messing up too many times, otherwise you'll be penalized greatly, because continues in that game added time rather than take away continues. So, you know, that actually made things worse in a pretty big way. But yeah, basically I'm probably going to be talking about a lot about Touhou 6 through 8. Not much about the others, like, you know, maybe I will from time to time. I'll fill in those when I do, but Touhou 6 through 8 are the ones that I go back to a lot, so those are the ones I really wanted to cover a lot, because those are the ones that from now on I'm not even going to preface what they're about. I'm just going to talk about them. But I didn't really talk too much about Marissa, because I actually don't play Marissa. I'm a Reimu player, or Sakuya if she's playable, so like those are the two characters I really lean towards. I play a little bit of Yomu in Touhou 13, but I'm not that good at her, so I don't really pick her. But yeah, it's basically Reimu for all the games, and because Reimu, gameplay-wise, she's the homing shot character. Like, you know, she always has like a homing shot option, although the homing shot option in Touhou 11 sucked ass. And Marissa is always the power character, basically, in each of the Touhous, and I really am not a power type playstyle, so I don't really pick Marissa. I've tried occasionally to play as Marissa, and I fail miserably. But yeah, Marissa is also there. She's not actually a priestess, she's just a magician, so basically she's just there for whatever reason she wants. To loot, you know, to steal from people for experiments. I don't know what her reasons are. She just does what she wants, basically. Reimu has like a duty to go out and solve these incidents. Marissa just is there. Like, I don't know too much what she's actually there for, but she's there. And I should probably mention like some nicknames, because Reimu has a couple different nicknames. Like, you know, there's Reimu, there's the Hakure Priestess, you know, they say that sometimes. The red-white, because her clothes are red and white themed. So sometimes people call her red-white. And then Marissa, sometimes she's called Marissa, sometimes she's called Thief, sometimes she's called Black-White, because, you know, her theme is black and white. That's basically the main names they have. So, you know, if I end up calling somebody something like that, then those are the ones I'm referring to. And Cyrano, like, you know, I should probably mention, since I was talking about Great Fairy Wars today, Cyrano, couple nicknames she has is Cyrano, Chirno, Nine, and Idiot. Those are the main ones she has, because of course they're referring to the manual of Touhou 9 with the 9 and Idiot jokes. So there's a couple of times where just she's referred that way, or at least I do whenever I get the chance. Oh boy. And then I've also been playing a lot of Touhou 9, so I might as well cover that, so I don't have to preface it anymore. But basically Touhou 9 was basically, I'm actually not sure, but like there was a whole bunch of flower viewing, and just I think there was like an overabundance of flowers. I'm actually not sure what the incident was, but something related to flowers. Like, that was the main theme because, you know, the one behind it, as far as I know, because I haven't unlocked the stage myself, is Yuka. Yuka from the original PC-98 games is the one behind the incident of Touhou 9, as far as I know. Like, I've not actually looked it up myself. I'd rather just find out myself by playing the game, but she is the extra stage boss, and to unlock the extra stage boss, I need to actually clear the game, which I am working on, because Shikieki is a bitch. Shikieki is the final boss of Touhou 9. She is a bitch. She dodges everything. I can't fucking kill her. And oh my god. Yeah, I haven't cleared it because the final boss is just ridiculous. She dodges everything I throw at her, no matter how strong my attack is. She dodges everything, and just, yeah, it's hard landing a hit on her, basically. Because Touhou 9 is the weird one where it's actually like a two-player fighting kind of shmup situation where you have one player on the left side, another player on the right side, and you're both like clearing the field, like fighting enemies and killing certain enemies, shooting bombs and stuff like that. Starts to affect the other player's screen, so it's kind of like Tetris. And that way, like multiplayer Tetris, you can affect the other player's screen if you do stuff. Yeah, the same concept basically, except in a shmup format. And so, Touhou 9 is the weird one, and I've been trying so hard to beat the final boss so I can actually get to Yuka and actually finish the story. And just, oh god, final boss is just ridiculous because she's just really good at dodging everything. But yeah, like Touhou 9 is like basically a love letter to the past games, because basically most of the characters of Touhou 9 are from the other Touhous, like from 6 through 8, and they're playable and enemies. And yeah, there's like very few actually new characters in Touhou 9. Like, I think Medicine is the only new character in Touhou 9. I'm actually not sure. Like, I haven't actually faced off against all the possible characters in Touhou 9, so I actually wouldn't know, but Medicine is the only one that I've encountered so far that was new. So like Touhou 9 actually has like one of the largest playable rosters for that reason, because most of the enemies that you fight in Touhou 9 are playable. And that's basically like the basic official like information of Touhou, but there's like an entire other side of Touhou where it like dives into the fan creation of the lore of Touhou, basically like the fanon, basically, because there's canon of Touhou and then there's fanon of Touhou, which are two entirely different things, because just the fans have created so many different things about Touhou. Like, they created like how Reimu is a poor shrine maiden where she's like literally has no money, she like stars and just stuff like that. And Marissa like steals stuff, but she also like steals the hearts of characters. And just they also created like the line, everyone in Gensokyo is gay. Like, that's like a running thing of Touhou fanon. Yeah, there's that. And then just there's so much about the fanon of Touhou. Like, I'm not gonna go into that because there's way too much. Like, that explanation of just the official stuff, like, imagine that but quadruple the time limit, because just like, yeah, I'm not going into that. There's way too much to cover. So yeah, that's basically it for like the official like Touhou information I'm gonna cover, because that's gonna be the stuff I'm gonna be going over and over and over again. So I'd rather just get it out here rather than go little by little throughout the play sessions of Touhou. So like, next time I go into Touhou 6, I don't have to cover anything because I basically already covered it. So yeah, that's basically it for the Touhou 101 minus 100. Which makes it Touhou 1, because I'm not good enough to be 101. So that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you come back next week. If you want to, you can leave a comment, PM me, or post in the thread of this podcast. That's going to be posted on Retroids.com. You can find me on YouTube or Retroids. It's your choice. So this is the end of the episode. Until next week, farewell.
When the storm is fully unleashed, I'm going to harness the quantum energy. It will give me complete control over the time stream.
What, are you trying to play God?
The first creation of the universe wasn't bad for a first draft. I'm just going to provide a much-needed rewrite. What kind of villain fixes it so that everyone gets to live happily ever after?
You're talking about power no human should have. You'll end up destroying yourself, but not before you've annihilated everything else.
Well then, I guess we'll just have to agree to disagree. This discussion is over.
It's over when I say it's over!